Hi everyone, welcome to the fourth series video of the Nimzovich Defense. Welcome to our chess on YouTube, and this time we're going to cover the variation of what could possibly happen if white goes knight c3. Of course, knight c3 is a normal looking move, protecting the e4 pawn, at the same time pressuring the d5 pawn. So what white is trying to do here is to force black into capturing the pawn on e4. So if black captures the pawn, he can gain more space by going d5. But is that really a great deal or a great thing for white? Well, we shouldn't really worry about it very much, because after we take, by the way, this is the best possible way of facing the move knight c3. Look at that! Already we are pressuring the pawn on d4, so he's got to react to it. He's got to react to the pressure. How? It's either he pushes, he defends, or he does something else. But one very bad thing that could happen if he plays bishop e3, oh, it looks like he's developing and protecting. It's got to be a good move, but unfortunately you're still down a pawn. Black can simply develop normally with knight f6, and it's going to be very hard for white to regain the pawn. Maybe followed by like bishop f5, e6, bishop b4, just one clear pawn for black. So most likely if your opponent goes d5, oh, by the way, if he takes knight takes e4, just to show it anyway, you can just simply capture the pawn on d4 with queen takes d4, and black is simply going to be up a pawn once again. And after he takes, even worse, because now black has the potential of forking both the king and the rook by going knight c2, or knight captures the pawn on c2. Extra tempo developing move, and your knight is quite centralized, so that's going to be a good thing. Moving back, so the best move for white here is d5, but no need to fear d5. Where are we supposed to put the knight this time? Can you guess? Is it b4, b8, or e5? And the answer is knight e5. Don't ever forget, knight goes to e5 here. Because if you go to b4, oh man, you'd be in a lot of trouble here, because your opponent can simply play the move a3, and after a3 you have to go knight a6, and your knight is quite misplaced in the corner of the board, and white just has a good position. So b8 is also not very attractive, because look at that, all of a sudden all your pieces are on the back rank. That doesn't improve your position at all. Excuse me. Now after d5 we can play the move knight e5. Of course he's going to recapture back on e4. He can also recapture the pawn back on e4 by going queen d4, forking both the knight and also the pawn in e4, but black can simply go knight g6, queen takes e4, but this is, I think this is helping black a little bit, because it gives us an extra free developing move. So most likely your opponents are not going to do that. So what they would do is play knight takes e4. Okay, after knight takes e4, it looks like white is rolling. He has that very nice pawn on d5, more space, just very good for white. But that is absolutely false. How are we going to deal with this problem? Similar to the French defense or the hyper-modern openings, they allow you to build up in the center. So later, you can do what? You can pressure the pawn. The move is c6. Not e6, but c6. The idea of c6 is kind of similar to the past videos that we've seen. If your opponent takes on c6, he loses his castling rights, and losing castling rights in this position would be a very bad thing for white. For example, if he takes, black queen captures, white loses castling rights, then we can recapture back with the knight, with the idea of taking out the bishop in either, it's trouble, either bishop g4 check followed by castle queenside, or bishop f5 followed by castle queenside. The only probably difference between this and the past thematic ideas that we've seen previously is that is that we have a pawn on e7. For a second there I thought we were up a pawn, but we're not. But this is a very good position for black. Okay, so what would be the best possible defense for white here if he doesn't want to lose his castling rights? Well, I guess it doesn't matter, because no matter what happens, for instance after c4, I think that's the best, black can still pressure white's d5 pawn by going, what's the next step? Is it bishop f5? No, not bishop f5, but we can do e6. More pressure. Now it's even worse if white captures on e6, because after he captures on e6 we get a free development. After we take the queen and he loses his casting rights. Whoops, not that. Absolutely not that. But bishop takes e6. Followed by castling queenside, free development, very good position for black. Okay. So after e6, what is white going to do? Can he push the pawn to d6? Well, that looks like a preventive move, but unfortunately that pawn falls down quite easily after f5. He has to move back the knight, and black is simply up a pawn after bishop takes d6 or queen takes d6. Okay, so d6 is not possible. What else can you do? Maybe you can do knight c3, right? Okay, can you find the next pressurizing free developing move for black? I believe black is just better after the next move. The move is bishop to b4. After bishop b4, more pressure. Pin towards the king. Pressure on d5 indirectly, since the knight's not going to be able to participate when it comes to defending the pawn. It's all good, right? And okay, so this is the end of the variation. So just a quick recap. If your opponent plays knight c3, just take the pawn, and white has two options or two sidelines that we considered, but the best move is d5. And where do we put the knight? Is it b8? b4? Even worse, b5, which is illegal. The move is knight e5. Centralized, it has a feature on g6 later. White captures on e4. Black pressures the overextended pawn on d5 to remove and gain more space. c4, e6. Black is trying to force white to capture, so black can get the upper hand after white loses the casting rights. And now after knight c3, free developing move with pressure. Bishop b4 gives black a very comfortable game. So what you do is you just set it up on the board, play it over the board, and analyze to see if white could do something about this pressure. And well, good luck with that. And thanks for tuning in on the fourth video of the series. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.